word biodiversity was coined by G. Rosen. It is defined as varieties of plants, animals and microbes occurring as an interacting system in a given habitat. Biodiversity provides a variety of environmental services through its species and ecosystems that are essential at the global, regional and local level. Different types of cycles in nature such as oxygen cycle, carbon dioxide cycle, nitrogen cycle, water cycle and cycles of minerals such as sulfur and phosphorus are important uses of biodiversity. The fertility of soil is also maintained by biodiversity of that area. The world now feels that the loss of biodiversity contributes to global climatic changes such as global warming, abnormal snowfall in some parts of the world and natural disasters like tsunami. Green plants take carbon dioxide during photosynthesis and give out oxygen. Oxygen is vital air necessary for respiration of plants as well as animals, including human beings. Respiration is the most important activity of life. According to the well-known environment expert, Shri Sundarlal Bahuguna, we calculate the value of a tree in terms of wood, fruits and fodder, but forget to include the contribution of the tree in production of oxygen. Now, oxygen is a life-saving gas. Every serious patient in a hospital is immediately supported by an oxygen cylinder. If we go to the market, an oxygen cylinder of around 20 kg capacity costs about 500 rupees. A single peepal tree yields tons of oxygen. Its cost will run in crores of rupees. Scientists of Hyderabad University have found that ordinary Cordia mixa, that is Gondi tree, is very efficient carbon dioxide absorber. It can purify air very efficiently. The tree is very common throughout India and needs no special care for its growth. Such trees are valuable for biodiversity. The loss of forest cover results in the increase in the amount of carbon dioxide, leading to greenhouse effect. Changes in biodiversity have resulted in climatic changes like global warming in some countries and global cooling in others, and these natural changes may lead to catastrophe. Food, cloth, shelter, energy and medicines are the basic requirements of human beings which depend upon biodiversity. Tribal communities gather resources directly from the forests. Urban communities generally use the greatest amount of goods and services which are all indirectly received from natural ecosystems. For long-term survival of man, biodiversity conservation is a must. Biodiversity of living organisms, which is present in the wilderness as well as in our crops and livestock, plays a major role in human development. The preservation of biodiversity is therefore integral to any strategy that aims at improving the quality of human life. Various organisms in a particular habitat depend upon each other. Plants depend upon insects for pollination, which is considered now a good example of mutualism. Use of pesticides has reduced the population of honeybees, and this in turn has reduced pollination and ultimately the production of fruits and seeds. Man is responsible for disturbing biodiversity. Man derives many direct and indirect benefits from biodiversity, and hence he should be cautious while disturbing it. Biodiversity also provides many ecological services free of charge that are responsible for maintaining the health of ecosystems. The uses of biodiversity are as under. Consumptive use. The biodiversity of ecosystem provides forest dwellers with all their daily needs such as food, building material, fuel wood and fodder. Out of several thousand species of edible plants, less than 20 species are cultivated to produce about 85% of world's food. Rice, wheat and corn are three major staple food crops which are rich in carbohydrates that yield nearly 2/3 of the food sustaining the human population. Coconut palm is the source of fat in South India. It is used as a cooking medium. Soybean, groundnut, linseed, mustard and sesame are oil-yielding crops. Jute, flax, sun, coir are fiber crops used by man as the source of gunny bags, canvas and cordage. The commercial domesticated species are crossed with their wild relative for improving their genetic characters. Genes for disease resistance are introduced by crossing the cultivated variety with a wild variety. This is because the wild varieties are disease resistant in nature itself. The Japonica variety of rice is high yielding, while the Indica variety from India is disease resistant. When they are crossed, the new cultivated variety is both high yielding and disease resistant. In case of wheat also, the Norin gene of dwarfism, but more tillering from Mexico, has been introduced in the Indian varieties. Kalyan Sona, Sharbati Sonra are such varieties of wheat. According to well-known environment expert Norman Myers, about 80,000 different species of plants are used as food. In Indonesia, about 4,000 varieties of plants and animals are used as food, but only very few are under cultivation. Due to overgrazing, cutting of forests, trees and conversion of forest land into agricultural land, several wild varieties have disappeared and their gene pool could not be preserved. The wilderness is an outcome of a long evolutionary process that has created an unimaginably large diversity of living species and various ecosystems on Earth, including all types of living creatures. This also includes human beings. In view of this fact, it becomes imperative and binding on us to protect this unique biodiversity of our Earth. This category includes marketable goods. The biotechnologist uses biologically rich areas to prospect and search for potential genetic properties in plants and animals that can be used to develop better variety of crops and better variety of livestock. To a pharmacist, biodiversity simply means the raw material which can be used to identify new drugs from plant and animal products. Plants can also be used for preparation of several synthetic products which are called botanochemicals. The period 1960 onwards is well known for Green Revolution. Norman Borlaug, popularly known as the father of Green Revolution, introduced genetic diversity in different varieties of wheat by cross-pollination between Mexican and Indian varieties of wheat. The high-yielding varieties solved the problem of food grains in India. These days, improvement is done by genetic engineering. Thus, we have moved from Green Revolution to Gene Revolution. The very beginning of the current century started with biotechnology. BT cotton, which is resistant to the bollworm Heliothrix larva, is an example of genetically modified crop. Similarly, hirudin is a protein that prevents blood clotting. The gene encoding hirudin was synthesized and introduced in a plant called Brassica napus chestnut. In this plant, hirudin is present and stored in the seeds, from where it can be extracted, purified and used for patients suffering from blood clotting. In this way, persons who are having cardiac problem can be saved. Even today, new species of plants and animals are being constantly discovered in the wild. These wild species are the building blocks for the betterment of human life, and their loss is great economic loss to the mankind. Among the known species, only a tiny fraction has been investigated for their value in terms of food or medicinal or industrial potential. The preservation of biodiversity has now become essential for industrial growth and economic development. A variety of industries like pharmaceuticals are highly dependent on identifying components of great economic value from wide variety of wild species of plants located in undisturbed natural forest. This is called biological prospecting. Commonly used modern drugs derived from plant sources are atropine, obtained from the leaves Altropa belladonna, used in dilation of pupil during eye testing. Bromelain, obtained from pineapple fruit. It controls swelling in tissues due to infection. Caffeine, obtained from coffee seeds. It stimulates central nervous system and has a refreshing effect. Camphor, it is obtained from bark and leaves of camphor tree Cinnamomum camphora. It is rubrifacient and increases local blood supply. It also cures skin infection. Cocaine, obtained from leaves and seed of cocoa, used as local anesthesia. It reduces pain during surgery. Codeine, obtained from the latex of Optium poppy. It reduces irritation in throat and therefore used in cough syrup as codeine phosphate. Morphine, obtained from latex of Opium poppy. It relieves pain in cancer patients in the last stage. Digitoxin, obtained from the leaves of foxglove Digitalis purpurea. It is cardiac stimulant given in heart trouble. Diosgenin, obtained from roots of wild yam Dioscorea esculenta. It is a source of female contraceptive and prevents pregnancy. Ergotamine, smut of rye or oat caused by the fungus Claviceps purpuses, given in painless delivery. Tablets given in migraine. Gossipil, obtained from cotton seeds, used as male contraceptive. Menthol, obtained from steam and leaves of Mentha piperata, cures stomach ache and used as mouth freshener as well as rubrifacient. Papain, obtained from latex of raw papaya, improves digestion by dissolving excess protein in mucus. Penicillin, it is archetype of antibiotic world, discovered and named by Sir Alexander Fleming of London from the fungus Penicillium notatum. Isolated by Florey in 1941, now it is manufactured from Penicillium chrysogenum. It kills gram-positive bacteria, especially pus-forming Staphylococcus. It also cures tonsillitis and pneumonia. Quinine, obtained from the bark of Cinchona officinalis, a tree of the family Rubiaceae, sold in market under various names such as chloroquine, primaquine, resocin and nivaquine. It is a wonderful anti-malarial drug. Reserpine, obtained from the roots of Rauwolfia serpentina, a shrub of the family Apocynaceae. The plant is popularly called Sarpgandha or snake root. It reduces high blood pressure, which is the most common disease these days. Scopolamine, obtained from the seeds of thorn apple, Datura stramonium. It is sedative and also controls tremors in Parkinson's disease. Taxol. It is resinous secretion of Taxus baccata, popularly called Pacific yew tree. It is anti-cancerous and useful especially in case of ovarian cancer. Vinblastine and vincristine, obtained from the leaves of rosy periwinkle Catharanthus roses, very common under shrub throughout India with rosy or pink flowers. Both these are anti-cancer drugs, especially for controlling cancer in children. The plant flowers throughout the year and hence it is called Sadabahar or Baramasi or Sada Suhagam in Hindi. Actually, blueprint of several important medicines has been obtained from wild plants. By disturbing biodiversity, we have lost the germ plasma of several useful plants and animals. Social values. Valley of Flowers in Himalayas is visited by various societies to observe the beauty of flowers. Several people like to have colored fishes in aquarium and round about them. People visit forest in order to observe wildlife. They visit various lakes to watch bird life. Madhuka latifolia is used in social life by tribal people. Village chopal or meetings are organized under shade trees like banyan, where several important decisions pertaining to social life are taken. Phoenix and other palms are used for extraction of sweet sap known as neera, offered in society at various occasions. Butea monosperma is used for extraction color to celebrate Holi festival. Ethical values. Indian civilization has preserved nature through local traditions. Persons of Bishnoi caste do not cut trees. Jingo biloba, a conifer gymnosperm, has been saved from extinction because it is cultivated near Buddha temples, and banyan and peepal are also cultivated near Indian temples. Indian civilization has over several generations preserved nature through local traditions. In our country, we have a large number of sacred groves. As preserved by tribal people in several states, sacred groves are traditionally protected forest patches maintained on socio-religious grounds. Due to moral and ethical protection by the natives, the groves support a rich collection of plants and animals, including some rare and endemic taxa. In India, there are 13,720 sacred groves in various states. Aesthetic value. Botanical gardens and zoos are the centers of aesthetic value. Biodiversity is the beautiful and wonderful aspect of nature. Sitting in a forest and listening to the music of birds is a unique experience. Vehicles of several deities are animals. The vehicle of Lord Ganesha is a mouse, that of Goddess Lakshmi is an owl, while Goddess Durga prefers a lion. Barasingha is the state animal of Madhya Pradesh and banyan tree is the state tree of Madhya Pradesh. Lotus is the national flower of India, while tiger is the national animal of India. Tulsi is worshipped in most of the parts of India. Snakes are also worshipped in few parts. All these steps lead to conservation of biodiversity. Optional values depends upon future possibilities. Now the problem is, it is very difficult to predict which of our species or traditional varieties of crop and domestic animals will be of great use in the future. But one thing is very certain, and that is we have to preserve all our wild crops, plants and animals. They have original disease resistant genes and other useful characters. According to Charles Darwin, natural selection has played a very important role in the process of evolution of wild species of plants and animals. Therefore, we have no other option but to protect and preserve our biodiversity. Biodiversity is connected with our life in the form of different aspects. We cannot think of existence of man without biodiversity. It is interesting to note that native and tribal people have contributed much more towards conservation of biodiversity than people from urban areas. This is because tribal people depend on biodiversity for their everyday life, and therefore they have linked biodiversity with their social, ethical and aesthetic life. Government should form and organize biodiversity boards at national and state levels so that whatever biodiversity remains intact and is preserved and conserved in future.